Mr. Juma, sir. The man does not have a beard. He is bald. I have not seen his wife. I'm going to need him to keep quiet.
This is the Two African Girls Review Podcast,
where we review black and brown film, TV, and more.
We are back with our episode 2 Country Queen review. Now, if you don't already know this, we are reviewing Country Queen episode by episode because it's the first Kenyan Netflix show. We did an episode 1 review, so make sure you go and listen to that before you listen to this.
And to those who have listened to the first episode, we thank you for listening. If you are enjoying it, please make sure you leave a thumbs up on YouTube, share wherever you're listening.
Also give us a rating.
Yeah, it helps push the podcast to more listeners.
This episode was directed by Brian Munene. The writers were Wanjeri Gakuru, Lydia Matata, Oprah Oyugi, Kimani Waweru.
It starts with the child picking a cloth from a clothes line and running throughout the village saying Mwalimu anakufa. Is that the word she said?
Oh God, they're butchering Swahili. She does not use Swahili. She's using Kamba.
But it was understandable. I mean, to us, that she was saying Mwalimu is dead.
Because there's subs. Yeah, so the child has told the people that Mwalimu is dead. And Anna comes over. I think she hears the message. She comes over and she actually does confirm that he is dead. While she's there, Anna is giving, she gives condolences to both Esther, Mwalimu's wife, who is also Akisa's mother, and also to Aunt Salome.
Even Akisa is there.
Yeah, as well as Akisa. But the strange thing is, Esther says the word that the sorrow or the grief is only ours, meaning that Akisa is not included.
That means she does not regard Akisa as somebody who's going through grief too?
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about this. The way Esther is being so cold to her daughter is really something.
It is uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable to watch. And then the part where she says the toxic waste from the city. Yes. At first, when I first watched it, I was like, what is she talking about? What toxic waste? When I went in to watch it the second and third time, I realized she was actually talking about Akisa. What was so atrocious that Akisa did that made this woman hate her daughter so much?
Anyway, when the child is running around, right, doing the death announcement, you can see the color grading change.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
When they go to the parts where the open pit mining is, you can see it's really dry. There's few plants inside.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks
desolate. Yeah, that's the word.
Oh, English. Okay. And while we're there, we meet, we don't really meet. We know Eric, right?
Yeah. He oversees the mining activities, I guess.
Yeah, he reports to Vivian.
Yeah. Let's talk about Eric's outfit. First of all, it's bringing back memories.
Was it intentional?
Yeah, because they made him wear khaki pants. You know, the whole safari, white man safari outfit complete with a hat.
Maybe it was intentional because he really gave overseer vibes.
And to make it worse, he's actually sitting in a tent. They'd be sitting in tents with their, what are these things called? Looking glasses? What are they called? Binoculars.
Yes.
And the people are down there working. It gave colonial vibes. Yeah, I've said it. A lot of people, when they think of safari, like this safari chic, that's a thing, you know?
I'm yet to meet an African who wants to actually go on a safari.
They're there,
you
know?
White.
They're there because it's marketed to you as tourism. Support your country. So you have to go whether you like it or not.
What will I gain from seeing a lion?
I don't know. Appreciate. You know what? This is not the time and place to be discussing this. But yeah, whoever did wardrobe was...
Yeah, we got the message.
Yeah.
We have Eric describing Titus and Musa as...
stupid.
The fat one and the skinny
one.
Oh,
right.
And he also refers to them as stupid.
Right. It's so funny because when they hear the child say Mwalimu has passed away, Eric says some problems have a way of solving themselves. That means they were banking on Mwalimu's death.
Do you think they would have eventually killed him if he didn't get out of
their
way?
But you know, the brothers, remember in the first episode when the brothers were following him? Mm-hmm. And then he said, guys, this is the land our mother is buried on. Mm-hmm. They say something like, you will follow her very soon when they had him coughing. It's like they were very callous.
I really think they killed him.
You think so? I don't know.
Because Anne came to check on his, to confirm that he's dead. And she said whatever medical condition he had, she thought he had more time.
So she didn't expect him to die that soon.
Yeah. Do you think he was holding on to see his daughter before he drops dead?
Because remember, in the beginning, Akisa kind of has a vision. Not really a vision, but like she sees her father when she's at the party of Vivian and Max. Do you think that was a sign?
That he was gonna die?
Soon, and she needed to go home?
I think she has these, I think she's thrown back into these, her past life and her family quite often. Like, it's a result of the trauma she experienced. I think she thinks of those things from time to time. We just happen to be witnessing one in the first episode.
But anyway, yeah, so we go back to Musa and Titus, and Eric calls these guys. So basically he finds out that their older brother, who is the patriarch, has died. And I think he thinks it's going to be easier for me to acquire whatever I want because these guys are stupid. Also, like you said, he calls them fat and skinny.
The use of descriptives, I hate it so much.
But it is so...
Especially in our communities.
Yeah, it is so prevalent. It's not even a big deal. For example, someone calls you fat or skinny or whatever. If you call them out, they will be shocked that you're calling them out because it's so normalized.
Like, I already know I'm fat, so... I have a mirror.
But that's how they...
It's so strange the things they choose to be blunt and call out.
That is so true.
Because there's so many other things. For example, Akisa's mom.
That woman was speaking in riddles. It's like, what is it that you want to say? Like, I kept on getting pissed.
She's saying waste, curse.
At one point, she even blamed Akisa for the death of her husband.
Is it like Akisa brought her shame? What is it?
It's like Akisa was a chisirani. You know what a chisirani is?
Like a curse?
Like a curse, a bad omen. Like because the moment she arrived, the dad died. But you're right. Instead of, Akisa's mom stating whatever is aggravating her, let's talk about it. We're both adults now. Let's have a conversation. Why do you hate me so much? Why do you resent me so much? She starts speaking in riddles. But they can openly call people fat, short, skinny, what?
Like, are you serious?
Guys, do you agree with us? It's like there's some things people choose to be blunt about, and then there are others where they just choose to beat around the bush. It's so annoying sometimes.
Calling people outside their name is annoying. It is. Especially living in a world where people are very conscious. I mean, maybe there was a time where calling a person fat, tall had no consequences.
Right.
But in today's world, there's a standard of beauty. Calling a person outside of that, it makes them more aware that they do not fit it, which makes you very self-conscious, and it's uncomfortable. So I really do not support it. Just call the person by the name.
Then we are shown Vivian talking to the Swiss man. Remember, she has a continuing deal.
You think?
That was the opportunity she was going to have to break into the European market.
Okay.
Which is why she was really frustrated.
Somebody calls somebody.
Yeah, they're on the phone and they're talking, and she's promising him that, this is African time. African
time is not African time. We need to dispel this.
Yeah. So she says
it's racist.
Yeah.
We move.
She said this is African time. Give me some little more time to like put the gold together and give it to you. And within that time, she doesn't even know where she's going to get the gold.
No, she does not. When we see the Swiss man talking, Roberto talking to her, he's in a hotel room.
Right.
And in this hotel room, there are, who I suppose are sex workers. They're two black women. And they are making out on the bed. Guys, I have a problem.
But it's called, they term it sex tourism.
No,
I hear.
They need to the exploitation of people in vulnerable conditions.
I hear. But that's the
in
thing.
The global South.
I feel like
women.
For them to justify whatever it is that they're doing, they call it sex tourism. Because notice the imbalance. It's usually European or generally white men or women who come to these countries. There's even stories about Kenya who come to these countries and then take advantage of the women or like the young kids and stuff.
Nasty, man.
But that's the thing. Why would you term it sex tourism when you know there's a power imbalance? So I feel like...
Do you want to talk about tourism? Tourism in itself...
Listen.
There's an imbalance.
That is so true. Nobody ever says, I'm going to Switzerland to tour.
I want to see some cows. I want to see some cows in Switzerland. Do you think they'll give me a visa? But they will come to see lions.
Like, you have to have a groundbreaking reason. You're like an earth-moving reason for you to be granted a visa to go to those places. So the fact
border
that...
control against the browns and blacks.
Oh my God. So the fact that this is termed sex tourism and these wealthy men who have obviously money, they have the privilege of mobility, they can come in and out, and they come and... At this point, is it even consensual? Like, if I know you're going to give me money after this, of course I'm going to say yes, right?
I'm already in a situation where I'm deprived of things basic needs.
Yeah, so whatever you offer, I'm going to take it.
Is that even consent?
But this episode is not about that.
Let's move.
It's because I'm a business people.
One day they'll block this podcast. We're always white people. But look, guys,
I'm about business people. To be honest, you find them hanging out with people like this in the hotels and bars and restaurants and whatnot. So
we understood the message.
We really did.
They always be like that.
We really did. We forgot to mention Vivian's jewelry is always on point.
I love the actress.
The necklaces paired with the earrings, they really look so good.
Yes.
And whoever is photographing them makes sure we see them because we've been really seeing them and they really look good.
Also, the actress she has the features for the jewelry. She's the community people. I think they hear of the death.
No, that even before that, remember, Eric comes and he tells them, sell me the land for 5 million. Immediately, the same day they heard that this man has died. Listen, these brothers, they literally negotiate and agree to sell the land for 10 million.
Then I'm wondering, who are they to negotiate the sale of this land? Is it their land?
No, but then if the patriarch has died, that means the women in that family don't matter anymore. So these men are going to be making decisions for them.
Why is this giving me my village? Oh, I hate it. I'm having war flashbacks. Anyway.
What do you mean war flashbacks? You've never been in a...
It's the youngins lingo these days. Actually, I have been in.
Yeah, you actually have been. Now the news has spread.
Yeah, and in the late evening, they come over to Mwalimu's home and
singing.
Oh man, that scene
was so realistic. Yo,
do you know how many vigils we've been on? It felt very real.
Very.
Like everybody gathering outside the house, they bring the sofa from inside the house and put it out, and the men sit on the sofa.
And then the women start to cook.
Even when you're the one grieving, I hate that. And you have to be serving these people. Listen.
You have a bone to pick with men.
It's not men. I have a bone to pick with the patriarch.
And then remember the part where Akisa's phone kept on ringing?
Yeah.
First of all, what is that ringtone?
Miss, what is your ringtone?
Okay, I don't have a ringtone. But still, what?
So you just have a general dislike for ringtone?
I generally don't like ringtones. No, but her ringtone was annoying.
You know what my ringtone is? It's the one for Apple, like iPhone.
On an Android?
On an Android.
Techno.
I said, why not get this sound and put it? There's a way people respect you.
When you have oh my God.
On my techno phone, move.
Anyway, so Akisa's phone keeps ringing. The call was from Jay.
Her office
assistant. Yeah. So the call was from Jay, and I think Jay was trying to ask her something.
Yeah.
She said, leave me alone. I am grieving. My dad has died. Please don't call me. That's the part when the uncles, these annoying uncles, come and they're like, here in this place, we respect elders.
Picking up her phone while an elder is speaking, it's disrespectful.
But I was thinking...
And you know who was talking when she picked the phone? Charlo's dad, the council head.
Oh. But I was thinking, these men have the audacity. Haven't you just sold the land which these people are standing on, but you're here telling us about respect?
They pick and choose things from tradition. If they can use it to oppress women, they love that tradition.
So they use it to serve themselves, really.
Yeah, for real. But you know what? Big up to Akisa, because Akisa can talk back.
Akisa can.
Some of us were cowards.
Listen, there's this running joke that Ugandan women are humble and Kenyan women are not. Because I'm imagining if I was in a situation, but you know what? I would talk back.
Are you sure you'll talk back?
Yeah, it's one thing to say and it's another to
I don't
actually
know how.
do.
With your uncles? you know, they kind of like segregate the conversations. You can't even speak.
That
like,
is so
how
true.
will you end up in
the group of the men who
to
are
be able to talk back
yeah,
to them?
because then they'll say this is not for girls like you.
You're probably serving them that.
That is so true. But I really like how she was able to stand up for herself, because at this point they were really bullying her.
And I think that they did not anticipate her being there, because if it was Esther, they will bulldoze over her.
Yeah, they will. And they usually do. I was reading a book a few days back.
What's the name of the book?
So the book is called Longthroat Memoirs, Soup, Sex and Nigerian Taste Buds by Yemisi Aribisala. So in the book, she was talking about how when a woman is married into the man's family, she becomes less than all the family members.
Jeez.
And I was thinking, damn, because we're going to see this throughout the whole show, the way they treat Esther.
Yes.
It's like she is no longer relevant now that the person she was attached to, who is the husband, is no more. I think it's important and it's good that Akisa was able to stand up to those people, because if she was not there, I don't know what Esther would have done.
It's also frustrating them, Titus and Musa, because they never thought that they would meet such an obstacle.
Right.
Who will be talking back and questioning.
Right.
Uncle Musa and Titus, they suggested that they use Esther's little savings for the funeral.
These men have the nerve. You know, they said our brother, he's going to get the funeral he rightfully deserves, which means an extravagant funeral. But we're going to use
your mom's
little savings. Oh my God. I think it must have been hard for like some older Africans to watch, because they're like, why is she disrespecting her uncle? Because a part of me would feel that. Then another part would be like,
yeah, you know, when we see it from our respectability lens, like how we grew up, it would be like, oh my God, she's so disrespectful. At first, if you watch and you're not questioning yourself and your beliefs, you'll be like, Akisa is so obnoxious. Like, she feels herself. Yeah,
right.
What's the term in
She's
English?
full of herself.
She's full of herself.
Yeah.
Then later I was questioning, but why am I thinking like this? You know who's full of themselves? Those stupid uncles. This is going to be harder for the older people.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're watching, you need to be asking yourself, why do I think she's obnoxious, if you think so? Because a lot of people think Akisa is a villain. The irony of them using tradition and culture to shame or to like sideline Akisa and Esther, but then they forget all about tradition and culture and sell the land. They're quick to sell that land to a company.
Yeah, that is ancestral land. Like the man kept on telling them, this is where our mother is buried.
Yeah.
Does that mean also that they don't respect their mother like that? If it was their father who was buried
yeah, you
there,
know what? He said,
would they have been quick to sell it too?
So, on this podcast, we review black and brown film, right?
Yeah.
And other stuff. We watch a lot of like Indian movies, and we've realized the thing that when the movies always start, they always have in remembrance of,
in memory of,
we miss you, in memory of. The people like usually mentioned are men, so we always ask ourselves, it's like a running joke. We're like, oh, another man. Women are not missed in India, but you know what? I think women are not missed also in some places in Africa.
But if you're easily replaceable, why would you be missed?
Jeez.
So maybe Eric is right to call them stupid.
For Eric to call them stupid, that means he knows he is exploiting them. Nobody can accept to be exploited in his mind.
To that extent.
That is not stupid,
right.
If they're not stupid. And I think Eric wants to do his own double selling, triple selling. What's the word?
He was so quick.
Very quick.
To give them that offer. Because then I think you're right. After buying it from them, then he would sell it to Echo Rock for maybe double the price that they asked for. And then he pockets the difference.
And that's why he's saying they're stupid. Because for him, he thinks he is smart. Because he's going to make money off that.
Remember Ali, the man that Max was torturing because he thought he knew where the gold is. So Ali finally gives a name. And it turns out that the name he has given is in Congo, Goma, right?
Yeah.
Before Max leaves, he tells the person torturing Ali to throw him in the river, implying that they probably killed him and
so sad,
and discarded his body. But the part that was really the saddest was when Ali was saying, guys, don't do this. My mother and my sisters depend on me. So I was thinking how...
I don't have jobs.
Yeah, I was thinking how, you know, like some of these things, you think you're hurting one person, but you're hurting a whole community, because majority of us, you're never looking out for yourself only. It's like there's a group of people behind you. So that part really was so sad, you know, like when he was pleading with them to not kill him. But, you know, even if they had not killed him, they've damaged his limb.
They've shot him in the knee.
How can you recover from that?
There's a Netflix movie. It's a Uganda Netflix movie. It's called The Girl in the Yellow Jumper.
Yeah.
They talk about shooting people in the knee and how bad it is.
Max meets this man called Suli.
I think it's an old connect.
And this man is wearing a purple suit and a purple hat. Everybody knows Congolese people for being like extravagant, you know, like in their dressing.
They do dress well. I love.
Like you can always tell a Congolese man because they will come with like the shiniest suit, like the most embellished gold chains, watches, shoes, and everything. And I think they nailed that down when they made that man wear a purple suit and the hat. So
with a feather in the night.
Yeah, that is odd. And he is Max Connect in Goma. They reach a place and they find a woman and they ask her for directions, right?
Yeah. I loved she was doing the Lingala French Swahili mix.
Guys, so she gives them the direction. And they go to this place. It's like a bar. They were playing a game, and so this guy's going discreetly, and I think the goal is to retrieve the money, right?
Without a confrontation.
Yeah, without confrontation. But then in the process of them sneaking in, they find is it a fridge? It was a fridge with bottles of wine, and in those bottles, so my first thought when I saw that, my first thought was, are these people going to take the wine instead of the gold? Nga, they are not smart.
I thought it was like a special brew.
I was like, is this champagne? You're going to lose thousands of shillings over 4 or 5 bottles of champagne? Guys, be serious. But then later on we found out that there were actually gold rocks in the bottles, which is why they took them. So I think to them they thought, you know what, we might as well just take the gold and get it over with. You know, like how we keep laughing at American movies, especially horror movies. It's like you have the time to run away. Why are you still standing? It's like they'll stand for like 5 seconds until the person dies. And we're like, really? That was unnecessary.
Oh, shit.
Because these guys, they take the bottles, then they start opening the bottles and testing. Yeah, it makes sense because you don't want to run away with counterfeit gold again. But I thought to myself, why don't you just maybe run a mile? Because while they were checking this stuff, they are shot at.
Yep.
And then Suli died in that, like, the shootout.
Yeah. So sad.
And I was thinking, this death was unnecessary. It was actually really sad because he was saying, after we're done with this, I'm going to take you home to my madame. And
why saying it like my madame? Sounds like a mistress.
That's how that's what these people call their wives. They say, my madame.
Yeah, do you know what? Like some older parents, they say,
my madame.
My madame, and they say even they call her mommy. They're calling see, they don't know that in young lingo, mommy means something else.
This is not the podcast for that.
Why using bedroom talk here? Mommy?
What?
Daddy?
Why is that bedroom talk for
calling your wife mommy? It means something else.
Listen, we're not going to discuss this.
Calling your husband daddy means something else, but...
So this guy dies, and then in the shootout, the people they retrieve their bottles, the bottles of gold, but then Max...
He manages to get away
with I think 2 bottles or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. The next thing was shown is him back home in the shower. His position in the shower, you can tell that he was traumatized by this experience.
His friend of some years is dead.
Yeah, and I think you can't report something like that because then...
To who?
Yeah, actually, to who?
It's so sad because that's when I realized, oh damn, Max has feelings besides lust.
What do you mean lust?
Akisa. I don't know if that's love,
the thing.
Y'all, but whatever.
Is it lust for Akisa or is it love? We'll find out. Vivian comes into the shower and she says, where is my gold? But remember, even the part where he gave her the gold, it's like he composed himself from the shower and he came out as the regular Max, like the bad boy Max that he is.
Yeah.
And then he gave her the gold. And even then, Vivian was like, you still managed to fuck this up. Vivian is ruthless though.
Her empathy level is like teetering on 0. Vivian then tries to kick Max out. Like she gives him no space. She's like, I don't even want to breathe the air I don't want to be in the vicinity you're in. And Max tells her, you can't really do that. We are chained together.
Which was very interesting to hear because it made us believe that they have been involved in something.
Yeah, what's something that can chain you together besides marriage? I mean, they are married. Anyway, also marriage does not chain you. You can divorce.
Can you?
Not in Uganda.
Exactly. That's the thing. Because if Max is willing to go all the way and do all of these things for Vivian, it makes...
Even I feel she treats him like that because she knows he can't go anywhere.
So then what is it that they are involved in?
It's a good thing that he flipped it back on her. Like, you can't treat me like shit. But even in that, there's chaining, the power imbalance.
Yeah.
Max is on the lower end.
Yeah.
He's at the mercy of Vivian.
Yeah, he is.
In the morning, Akisa gets a box of pictures and she comes to her mom and Auntie Salome. They're sitting outside and she's trying to ask the mother, help me choose a picture for Baba's, funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Like that picture that they put in the program and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother is giving her the cold shoulder. One day, like later in the episodes, I don't know, maybe they'll help us understand more why Esther is like this to her child.
Guys, Esther's coldness is so palpable. Yeah, I wanted to use that word. But honestly, it is, oh my God.
Because Aunt Salome steps in. She's always trying to pacify things. While they're there talking, Officer Nima comes by. I think she's the community.
Also, can we talk about how, I call her Askari, how her hair is bomb?
Yes, her hair is... It's amazing because she removed her cap and then put it, and I was like, yes, madam. You're looking quite hot, madam. Mm-hmm. She looks so good. She comes by. I believe this is done, like for official documents. She comes to check the body, see if there are any suspicious, what is the term?
Malfunction. No. Malpractice.
No, not a doctor. Like, if the death looks suspicious in any way.
How does a suspicious death look like?
I don't know, like, she just comes to ascertain that this person died
peacefully?
Natural causes. Like, they went on their own time.
Death is death, first of all.
Ali's death, it was not.
Okay.
Exactly. Neither was Suli's. So you get what I mean. So, and I think it meets whatever stipulations. Because then she says, you can come by and pick the death certificate. Tomorrow, so that you can proceed with the burial.
And then Akisa says, I need it today.
Because I think she's trying to get this over with quickly.
It seems she wants to return home.
And it's funny, because when Officer Nima is there at the house, she says... similar words to what Anna said.
It's like, it's funny that the day you choose to come back home is when your dad dies. And then I said, like, what are you implying?
You can see that she's starting to get pissed. Like, oh my God, like, if you guys want to say something, say it. We move on to Vivian and, her Roberto, her Swiss Connect. And we see that he has backed out of their deal. And she is very upset. And it's scary because at this point you can see like she is willing to do anything to make things work.
So Vivian is informed of Roberto's decision while she's on the way to meet with the engineers, right? But you can even see that there's an anxiety around her, an anxiousness. I don't know if that's a word. Because she's popping pills too.
We don't know what she's taking.
Yeah. So she goes to the meeting, she meets the engineers, and then they have a call with Eric, right?
Eric is teleconferencing from Sri Lanka.
He tells them about the new development and how they're going to acquire the land. And then in the phone call, in the conference they're having, he says that they plan on, is it to decimate?
He doesn't use the word decimate, but
it's like
when he shows them like the plans where they plan to do the open pit mining, you can see that Sri Lanka, they plan to dig the whole of that place.
Laid to waste.
Like the whole village, the whole community would be gone.
Yeah. Because they're already doing that to the small part that they are mining right now. So their plan is to expand.
And the fact that they're meeting with these engineers, it shows that them finding the gold that Josiah found in episode 1, it has renewed the interest of everyone, including Vivian herself.
And it seems Eric has done calculations and...
We don't know anything about mining.
No, we don't.
But he has looked into this gold specimen and
it seems the land that they need to acquire to seal this new deal is the land of Akisa's father.
Akisa's father's land stands
in the center.
Yep. So like this specimen of this rock of gold that they found, it seems of good quality and they think that there's more. Because the way Vivian starts talking about how they can acquire land, she starts...
It's not even acquiring it in proper channels. It's like just do whatever it takes to get that land.
Yeah, like we just need this land. She does not talk about the place like there's people who live here. There's people whose lives are built on this land. We have Silas.
Silas is a bully, though.
Yeah. He is bullying Chalo's little brother, who we know he works like as an errand boy.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he has ever seen sun. He's wearing like a collared
He looks
shirt,
like he's fresh.
like a polo shirt.
He looks like a fresher from university.
Mind you, this guy, there's some things he disagrees with Silas on.
I think he's conflicted. He knows he has to be there to make money, but also he knows that what they're doing is not right.
No. He has no choice because he doesn't want to become an object of ridicule like his brother.
Right. Because his brother is a farmer, they think he's
God.
not.
The way they keep dragging. He's making some inappropriate sexual comments about Anna. And the brother is like, stop it. I think they were making fun of him like, you don't get any girls. But he's doing everything he's supposed to do. They're still saying you don't have any girls. So you're not really cut out as a man. But see, that's the thing. He needs to learn from his brother. His brother decided this is a them problem. If Chalo was preoccupied with what they thought of him as a man, I don't know, Tony's gonna learn the hard way. He's gonna realize even if you get the job that they want you to get, even if you get the girls,
you don't win either way.
You don't.
It seems Akisa's car has a flat tire. She's using a jack to...
Is it a jack?
Listen, we could be wrong, but it's that thing that you use to lift the car. And you can see she's struggling because even the way she's like using the device, it's like, what is she doing?
Soft life. Yeah.
And then Chalo comes and he's like, hey, you need help?
On his bike.
On his motorbike. From a distance is the mother of Kanini. She has a shop so they can see what is happening because her car broke down in like a public place.
Yeah.
And then in the shop is Anna. I think Anna was buying something from the shop. So Kanini's mother says,
You're letting your boyfriend do that?
With her?
Yeah, and then she's like, that's his ex-girlfriend.
Anna says, oh no, that's his nature. He helps everyone. Kanini's mother says, I don't think that's everyone. That is his ex-girlfriend. And I feel like the moment she said that, Anna's mindset changed.
It was not immediate, but you can see that she's not so much in distress because she's like, that's generally how he is. Oh my God, but guys, Akisa is such a soft baby. This girl, she had her jack on the ground. She was gonna leave it. Chalo had to pick it up for her and put it in her car for her. First, she was like, can you give me a ride? So she got her documents from the car, then closed the car, and then she was walking to the boda. And then he's like, you're not gonna pick your stuff up? And then she's like, and he picked it up for her. I was like, damn.
And then the next time we see them is Akisa and Chalo at Nima's place, the police post. Yeah. And Nima is telling them about their father. And then she starts reminiscing all the moments she shared with him. And she's like, he always had a kind word to say to me. And then Chalo says he was a father to many. Akisa can't relate. She really can't. Even her expression is like, okay, whatever.
Break time. What was your favorite scene?
The part where the woman was spreading the maize in a wooden tray-like thing. They shot it so well. Again, golden light, you could see the specks. In the light, it was really beautifully done.
When the casket was in the tent at night and then the lanterns were around it, I loved that shot.
What was your favorite sound?
The vigil sounds at night. They were so realistic. I felt like I was actually attending an actual funeral. It was done really well.
I agree with you. The choir singing, the a cappella, it felt very real.
What was your favorite line?
He always had a kind word to say, where the community regarded him as a father figure, but his own child could not relate. It put into perspective what Akisa is going through.
When Max said to Vivian, remember we are chained together forever. I liked the delivery of the actor, and the line also gave insight into the kind of relationship Max shares with Vivian. Do you notice? It's like Nima wanted some gossip. She was doing a digging of her own. I realized this only when I rewatched it. That Nima asked Akisa, hey, what happened? While they're sitting there coming for the death certificate with Chalo. You left after everything and we never heard from you. We started hearing rumors that you were pregnant. And Akisa shut that down real quick.
And she said, do you have the certificate or not? And you could see that Chalo was kind of taken aback. He didn't even know that.
Was he?
But Chalo, like, he looked clueless.
His reaction was more like, she just wants gossip. Because he just went along with what she said. Because Akisa said, villages and gossip. Chalo also. Yeah, you know how it is, Nima. So I think he just went, he's like, okay, they want info.
So do you think Nima knows something then?
I think they just know the rumors. They don't really know the story. When there's a vacuum, people will start creating stories.
That is true.
So I think when they saw that she was gone, it seems even no one has her number in this place. Nobody can find out. They don't have Facebook. Facebook is a nuisance. Because that's how people
energy for Facebook, first of all.
That's how people keep tabs on
like childhood friends, people they went to university or high school with.
For comparison purposes.
Yeah,
not even
really.
like they care. Honestly, that's what I believe. If you use Facebook for something else, I am sorry. Good for you. She made sure she cut everyone completely. That means Chalo has no idea. And the part where he said he was like a dad to me, or he was like a dad to many, just like Nima said, like you said,
she could not relate. It's like, I think it must be painful for her because she's like, how can you be a father to all these strangers, but your own child you can't?
Yeah,
okay, they're not really strangers, but still.
Like, it's painful. Like,
yeah, it is.
Bruh, you had one job.
To be a father to me, but you can't. But you can be a father to the whole village? That is not fair.
Community dad. Very painful. You notice also, yes, like at the vigil, the day before, Chalo came by the tea stand after the uncles Titus and Musa chastised Akisa. He came by the stand and then it's like he wanted to talk. You left. What happened? I think he's curious. You see the rumors that Nima knows? He probably hears the same thing.
Yeah, so he wants to find out if it's actually true or not.
We met a reporter, Joe. He works at, it's a media house of sorts. And he ambushes Vivian in the underground garage. And while he's talking to Vivian, it's like Ikorok is known for grabbing people's land, carrying out these mining activities with no regard for the communities that they do it in.
Yeah.
So he's asking her, is it true? And then he also goes on to ask about the gold laundering. So he's asking, you want to hear?
Like, what's your comment on this?
And this woman, I don't know if she spits on his phone. She gets gum, something. She gets something from her mouth and she puts it on his phone. Vivian, what the hell?
That's nasty.
In COVID times?
Yeah.
You can do many things to me, but saliva is where I cross the line. I mean, in other cases. But saliva is where I cut. No. That's not how candida happens. We're not medical professionals, but I guarantee you. You know what? It can cause Anna, I think it's her regularly scheduled visit to Chalo's house in the evening. When she knocks on the door, she starts making jokes that what is this I hear about you and your high school girlfriend? He's not facing her, so we can see her face. Yeah, we can see his face.
Both faces.
He's fumbling. That's because he doesn't know she's joking.
Right. So we can see that she's joking, but we can also see that he's struggling.
I'm now worried for Anna if it's not a joke on his face. Only when he realizes she's joking does he start to laugh along. But he was fumbling for a minute, like, yeah, Anyway, the part is cute.
Yeah. And then we're shown Akisa arranging the funeral event. Like, she's in her element. Because that's when it hit me that, oh, she is an event planner, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's the morning after. So she's asking people, like, pitching the tents, the chairs. She's in her element. She's commanding. Like, you can see she knows what she's doing. And then the part where she wanted to cut the tree branch because they wanted to erect a tent. And the mom came and she said, your father never wanted any of the trees to be cut. It makes so much sense because it's like where their homestead is, it's very green and lush. So like when she was explaining that she needs to put up the tent and they need to cut a branch, the mother became so concerned. She said, don't cut my husband's tree. And then Akisa said, wow, he's a father to everything, including trees, but me.
That's
yeah, not exactly that, but something like that. That's when they started getting into the mother. Remember when she cursed her? Something, if something doesn't break your knees,
you will trip on your own legs, something.
Yeah, something like that. That was
some really mean, like ominous mean curses.
That was so hard to watch, to be honest.
Akisa snapped. She was like, look, if you want to say something, say it to my face. When Akisa confronted her, Esther
She just walked away. The next time we see them is when they're in the house. Akisa's mom, Auntie Salome, and then Auntie Salome is asking Akisa to make tea.
Yeah, that when we have kids, we have them so that they can serve us sometimes.
To be honest, I can count on my fingers the number of times I've had relatives say that about their children.
Excuse me, so you're giving birth to indentured servants?
That's kind of sad, because then you realize you were
born to serve.
It's disturbing.
It is. While Akisa is going to do the tea, Uncles Musa and Titus come around again. It's like they can come in this house at any time they want. They kind of have like entitlement.
Yeah, entitlement. That's true.
And they come in with a piece of the
program, I think.
It's a program for the funeral service. They're reading through it. And Akisa is like, oh, so this, where did you get this? It has arrived. And then they're like, yeah. Then she's like, okay, so why didn't you bring the whole bundle inside? No, these uncles. The audacity.
And that was right after they had asked for tea.
Yeah, they were like, serve us tea too. And then they're like, you want us to get the papers from outside? What are we, your servants?
Your maids.
Like, they don't even see the irony.
They don't.
When they sit down to talk to Akisa's mom and Akisa and Aunt Salome, they start with their preamble of saying, our daughter to Akisa. Basically saying, like, we're the only parents you have now. Give us the authority, we will do what's best for you. Basically, they're saying all this as a preamble to, we're gonna kick you out because
we're selling this land.
As the men now, things are changing. And because they're changing, selling this land is the next best thing to do. The way I filmed, this part, you saw Esther got up and she walked out of the room and she's like, you're not going to kick me out of this house. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, they didn't care about her opinion.
They were talking to Akisa.
Their attention was directed to Akisa.
That is true.
And that's why I think they added all those, you're our daughter.
So we meet the governor because this person, remember, because Isaac would sometimes say the governor refused to pick up our calls and stuff.
Yeah, we didn't really know
who the governor was. So we find out now that this is the governor and he's at a golf club. We find out that Vivian wants to talk to this man, but the man doesn't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
His car and his bodyguards, while they are driving away, she stands in front of the car and she demands to speak to him. When she finally speaks to him, she asks for a license. It seems she needs a license.
Mm-hmm.
To allow her to mine Silanga.
To proceed, yeah.
And this governor says, I don't want to jeopardize my election. So it's not that he cares for Silanga. No, he just doesn't want to jeopardize his election. That's the priority. There are rumors that Ekorok is involved in shady business and he doesn't want to be attached to them. But the part that really pissed me off was the fact that he said, I don't want to jeopardize my election. Like, anyway, when have they ever really cared about the people? If we're being honest, when have they ever?
We always sound like anti-government.
Because we are. So you can see that Vivian is distressed because she really needs this to work. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the governor is not playing ball.
But you know, the moment he said that I'm not in this deal with you, the panic on Vivian's face. The actress portrayed it really well. Like, this is when I saw, oh, damn. She's scared for real.
Yeah, she really is.
So then I was concerned. Okay, what level of trouble is she in?
Because the deal with the Swiss man fell through.
She found her saving thing, which is this gold in Silanga. Mm-hmm. Governor doesn't want to give her the permit to proceed. She's stuck.
Yeah, she's like between a rock and Silanga.
We move to the night before the funeral.
Mm-hmm. So, there's a character that we got introduced to in episode 1. But because there was a lot going on in episode 1, we decided to talk about him in episode 2. So, this man is called the Professor. And in episode...
You know what? Strange thing. Even Mwalimu. Mwalimu is not his name.
Is it not?
Mwalimu means teacher. I don't know who's purposely naming the child teacher.
But people do. Why? Your president is literally called...
What is he called?
Omuseven.
Okay.
People call him the Professor. And we first see him when Akisa is coming to Silanga because she almost knocks him. And then she gets out of the car and she says, Professor, do you remember me? It's me. That means she knows him from her childhood.
Yeah.
But then it's like he could not remember her.
When she left, he was not in that condition.
Oh, yeah?
It seems.
Yeah. And he just looked at her like a stranger.
Then she was a bit confused, like, why?
And then he's always speaking in riddles.
Like metaphors.
Yeah.
Like how teachers talk, pretty much.
So the next time we see this man is when the men are having a village meeting. Remember the village meeting?
That was in episode 1.
Yeah. The village meeting where Mwalimu was saying, this land is our legacy, don't sell it. When he brought the dead chicken. Mm-hmm. Professor was also there. So when Professor came, he spoke some Bible verses. And then people just looked at him and laughed. It gave the impression that he is the village...
in quotes.
Madman. And we're saying that in quotes because obviously that's not the right way to say it. But that's how the village views him.
You know what? It's two things. Sometimes it's mental illness. Sometimes you do not operate by the standards of everyone in that society, so then you also termed a mad person.
Yeah.
Because Akisa could be considered a mad person too. Notice how they call her like curse, etc, toxic, this and that. When we're growing up, okay, let me use women. Women who talked back to men, let's say wore pants. Some of us are from very conservative communities. They wore pants. Basically, they did not do what their society expected women to be doing. Because they cannot explain it, they call you or they relegate you to being
a mad person.
Mad.
Yeah, that is true.
And then there are those who have actual mental illness.
Yeah.
Who they also call mad. What do you think?
I think Professor is the latter.
I don't know what those things Latter-day Saints.
Professor is like maybe he has some mental illness.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming he was probably like a teacher because he cites a lot of things.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's called Professor. Do you know we have a saying where I come from?
Yeah. That is so true.
Translation, books made them go mad.
Yeah. They say that to discourage girls from studying too hard.
Yes.
Because then you're going to become mad. Usually when you do study, your mindset shifts. So because this community is not used to this new way of life, they term that madness.
Yeah. And so the fact that he was called Professor and then they were calling him mad, it took me back to that.
Right. In the meeting, you could see that they disregard what he says. And then the next time we see him, and this is when we see, again, these nuisances.
We suspect that they are the ones.
They are. Yeah, I know.
In the night, there's people spraying the sukuma and the vegetable garden.
Yeah, they're spraying it with, I think it's an insecticide or some...
We don't know.
It must be a chemical of some sort.
Yeah.
And this professor sees them. One of the shirts is the shirt that Titus wears.
Yep, adashiki.
Yeah, during the day. So we are speculating. Me, I know. I'm not even speculating. I know it's Titus and Musa. Those men, they are capable of that. If they are capable of telling you die so we can sell your land, I don't know what they're not. Anyway, so...
Do you know, I really hope it gives only like temporary symptoms. I hope it's not something that...
permanent damage?
Yeah, that's messed up. Which then proves the point. In the beginning, episode 1, it was Auntie Salome. She was like, first they came for the chicken.
Yeah.
Next it will be you and Mwalimu.
And Mwalimu died. The next scene we see is Mama Akisa, Esther. She comes carrying a shawl.
This is the first time we see Esther, the mother, coming to the daughter. It was always Akisa finding these people.
Akisa says, this is the wrap that Daddy gave you when I was a child.
Yeah.
Then the mother says, I want you to have it. But it was so odd because in that moment, Esther was so tender.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
How did she go from that cold person to now this tender person? So she gives her the shawl. She says,
I have my suspicions. Do you remember when uncles Titus and Musa sat them down to talk to them and they were referring to Akisa as their daughter while icing Esther out?
Right.
I think Esther has realized that the only connection she actually has that she can use to claim that land and home
is through her daughter,
who is the child with their brother.
Damn.
So I don't know even if she's being affectionate from like a true place, because I just don't know how you change that quick.
Yeah, she changed so quick. Even Akisa was like, what is going on? You could see it on her face. She was confused.
Esther knows the politics going on. Just realized, if I'm going to survive, I better start being nice to this girl they're calling their daughter.
That is the morning after. Then we see the funeral event happening, the service happening. So there's, the singing choirs. Listen, the choirs got some money from this. Because
If you're from like a Christian background.
Yeah, it really did sound like Christian songs, like...
Especially if like the funeral is up, deep village. We come from mountains. So, even carrying generator up there is a bit too much. You will hear only a cappella, because now, the modern day choirs, they'll be putting track.
Is this the part where the people are eating the food?
Yeah, people are eating the food at the funeral. In the morning, we saw people cooking, the women who are always doing labor at these events. Yeah. We saw them picking the sukuma, and there's some other vegetable that looks like a chard. It looks like bok choy, but it's not.
Swiss chard.
The same stuff those guys were spraying
the night before. So you can imagine what's going to happen at the funeral.
So they were eating ugali with the vegetables.
Yeah, with the vegetables. Of course, the people had come. The tents were all set up. Like, they were ready to bury the person.
And then Professor also came and attended the funeral.
Yeah, he did. And they tried to serve him a plate of food, and he refused the food because of what he saw the night before. And then he started saying, you people are going to get sick.
Yeah.
But I think because the people don't really rate him anyway, they thought he's just mumbling gibberish. So they ignored him.
That is what calling people or relegating people to being mad does. Because then it discredits anything they say.
Even if you're speaking the truth. After the people eat, we're shown pasta.
Yeah.
Akisa is draped in that wrap that the mother gave her earlier. They stand up. They're doing the speeches and everything.
Yeah, it's like they're really in the middle of the service.
Yeah. God, when the uncles come, these men pissed me off.
This interruption comes after they met at Grace's bar. And at this bar, Titus and Musa were on an agenda. They realized they're outnumbered. They saw once Akisa was not agreeing with selling the land and home and kicking them out.
Their threats don't threaten her.
They then went for reinforcement. They told all the community men who are part of the council, like, look, you need to help us. This woman from the coast. This is also when we learn Esther is not from the region. She is from the coast. Now, inter-ethnic relationships.
For another day.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about this in another episode.
Yep.
Because I feel like this contributes to Esther's issues.
Them mistreating her.
Them mistreating her and Esther's issues with Akisa herself.
Oh.
They come together. The things they're able to come together for one night. We see Mr. Juma, along with his besties, including Musa and Titus, and they come and interrupt Mwalimu's funeral.
And then chaos ensues. Guys, this was so chaotic. Oh my God. I kept on thinking, is this real? This is bad omen to interrupt funerals.
And in this fight, we have the clergyman who's like, guys, we need to calm down. We have Esther. Esther is like, what the hell? Akisa she's not holding back.
And then Chalo is joining.
Doesn't Chalo's dad,
who is part of these men who have come, he starts abusing Chalo. Listen, Chalo is always catching stray bullets.
Again, with you're not a man.
And this time, they come for his beard. And I was thinking, look at these people speaking. They don't even have beards themselves, first of all.
Mr. Juma, sir, I'm going to need him to keep quiet. The man does not have a beard. He is bald. That's why he wears a hat all the time. I have not seen his wife. I feel like part of the reasons why they keep questioning his manhood. No, should I say manhood? Manhood means he is being man enough is because he does not have a wife. I feel like that's a big part of why they disrespect him. And then also he doesn't agree with his dad.
So like everybody's just fighting. Akisa is throwing words. Esther is throwing words. Chalo is throwing words. Musa and Titus are throwing words. The priest is throwing words. It reaches a point where another elder says, guys, stop fighting like kids. What is this?
I think they had fun acting this part.
It was so chaotic. Like, I was mortified, but it was also funny.
Yeah.
Even the choir stopped singing and they were like, what is going on?
And they took the clergyman who's supposed to carry out the service.
Yeah. So like, he can't perform the service. There will be no burial. And guys, that is how the episode ends. It ends on such a chaotic note. We've touched on so many topics. Leave us a comment and share your thoughts, and we will see you in the next episode.
You've been listening to the Two African Girls Review podcast, where we review black and brown films, TV, and more. Don't forget to rate and share this podcast. Leave a comment on this episode and let us know what you'd like us to review next. Send us an email at twoafricangirlsreview@gmail.com. Until next time.